have two friends on this call. I don't know whether I'm using the word I, but I don't know. It's quite personal to me. I call him strange, or we call him strange in class. And there is Andy Khan. We are pharmacy students, and you know what tripped us, or what tripped me about this session is, some weeks back we had this session where our clinical lecturer, asked us to. He gave us quite a number of topics, and then asked us to relate the application of that technology with cardiovascular disease. And my group was computational chemistry and how it helps with cardiovascular disease. I think Inyodu's own was machine learning and how it helps with cardiovascular disease. Fun facts, Andikan and Inyodu were on the same group. And this guy literally gave us goosebumps. Like, he made our lecturer so glued to the presentation, right? I have loved AI for a while, but I feel like Andikan and Nyodu are like the gods of this. So at this point, we are going to ask them to take over the session, right? Inyodu and Andikan, thank you so much for coming on board. Thank you. We really appreciate it. So guys, we will just do a quick run and then we'll get straight to the point. So Inyodu, thank you so much. We're so grateful for you showing up. Thank you. Please, you have the floor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Emilia. Good evening, everybody. Like the host has said, my name is Iniodu. I'm a pharmacy developer. Uh, don't let that surprise you too much. But I have a little bit of knowledge about AI, and I use it in my day-to-day activities. And it was interesting to come on the call and hoping myself. But as it turns out, the speaker is having a little bit of a technical issue. So, from my experience and learning processes. Okay, I'm here with my friend, as already said, Andy Khan Basi. He's also an AI enthusiast. So I think so. I'm going to start now. We've been saying AI since, but do we really know what AI means? Artificial intelligence. But what does that mean? We know that intelligence has to do with the brain and how human beings use what they know, the information they have to make decisions. But AI, not really. The difference is that human
Hi, Inyodu, I can't hear you anymore. Are you having a problem or is it just me? Jesus. Okay. uh, Okay. Please give us a minute. Let's get our speaker back on track, please. Okay, yeah, we have our speaker back. Please, we completely apologize for this whole network issue, right? And we hope that you get to make the best of this class. Please, Inyodu, you can continue. Thank you.
Can you still hear me? Sorry about that. Lost in connection.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? All right. So I was talking about AI and how different it is from human intelligence. So, in a nutshell, AI is AI is artificial intelligence. It is the method where we train a computer to use data, to go from data to making decisions. It can learn from the data, analyze it, and then make decisions based on what it learns from that data. So, in a nutshell, AI recognizes patterns. All it does is to see a pattern, understand what the pattern is doing, and then recognize it the next time it sees any information that resembles that. And one of the key features of AI is that it can adapt and improve based on whatever data it is presented with. So the first version of ChatGPT, I assume we all know what ChatGPT is, was not as good as the current version is. And how we got from version 1 to 4.5 now is training and retraining the AI using different methods. Now, so that's just about it. AI is not magic, it is just maths. It's using mathematical concepts like linear algebra and a whole lot of computation to go from simple data to making decisions. Now, there's this concept known as the black box problem. We don't know how AI goes from this data to the decisions. All we know is that when you feed it data, you tell it all these things that you can get on the internet, you feed it a book, can learn from the book by itself, and then know how to write a book. It's only now, recently, that research has been ongoing into that area. For example, Anthropic, the company that makes Claude, has published a paper explaining how Claude makes decisions. It's an interesting discovery in 2025. Now we are getting to understand more and more about AI. But basically, it is just maths plus data plus algorithms, and then you get artificial intelligence. But an example of AI that we should all know is YouTube recommendations. So based on what you watch on YouTube every day, your music, the music you listen to, YouTube can make a playlist for you, can recommend videos that you may like, that you would probably like. Another one is ChatGPT, like we all know. It can understand human text from analyzing a whole lot of human text that has been fed to it. And then it can also reproduce human text. It can write poems. And now we are having ChatGPT reproduce images. All it does, or all that was done, was to take a bunch of images, give it to a model, an AI model, to train it to recognize that image, and then it knows how to reproduce it. So the speaker was trying to say something about machine learning and computer vision and a whole lot of other things. But those are just the building blocks of AI. Can you hear me? Oh, okay, Daniel, I've seen your notes. Sorry about that. So I'm talking about the building blocks of AI. How does AI learn? How does it do all these things? The speaker was talking about machine learning. This is where AI learns from data to make predictions. It's like, okay, for example, your friend knows you usually take a certain route when you are going back from school, and he will know where to wait for you. That's one example. Yes, seeing you do that over and over again and can predict what you would do next or which road you would take. Good. Another good example is Spotify. I also mentioned YouTube and Netflix does it too. Even Google. does it. When you use personalized search on Google, they take what you've been searching for over the past months and kind of reorder the results so that you see things that you like searching for. I hope you understand what I'm saying. All right, so I'll now talk about computer vision that the speaker initially mentioned. This is just where AI recognizes images and videos. An application of this would be your face unlock. I think you use your face to unlock your phone. You can recognize this in videos. Facebook also uses this to detect images that you may appear in. There's a feature on Facebook that does this and can automatically tag you to the picture. And that's the basics of AI. It is simply, I was made to understand this is an introductory class. So I think I will stop here about AI. It's simply making a computer learn from data. It sees information, it analyzes it, and then learns from it to make decisions in future when it is presented with the same information again. There are different types of AI, though. The speaker tried to talk about narrow AI and general use AI. Let me clarify that a bit. Narrow AI is when you apply AI to a very specific purpose. General AI is when you use AI for almost everything. ChatGPT is almost it's general AI. Right? When it comes to face unlock on your phone, facial recognition software, um, video generation AI, those are narrow AI. They are just focused on one thing and one thing only. So that's the difference between those two. Um, I will stop there about the AI topic. And over to you, Kelsey, Medium, our host.
Hi, Inedu, is anything okay? Okay. Okay, I get. So let's get Andy Khan on board. He'll be talking about intersection of the agile. But if you have any questions, please do well to share. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Please, if you can't hear me, just indicate immediately you lose me so that I don't go too far. My name is Andy Kambasi. I'm a pharmacy student,
Yeah, do
MABL, so
we
my
have
colleague.
any questions regarding? Okay.
Okay, so I think you can continue, Andy Khan. Sorry about that. Please, if you have any question, you could just type it in the chat box. And our speakers are still here. They are well versed in this space, trust me, and they would answer the question. I appreciate you, Tochuku, business mentor, Joy, Daniel. Thank you for still being here. And Zube, yeah, I see you. Please do well to pay attention and please ask your questions on anything you don't understand. Thank you. And you can continue.
Okay, I'll be talking on Agile. Agile is a method of project management. So, it seems this is going to be a group of people working on software development. You'll be creating apps or products for to meet certain needs. So one of the ways you can meet your target is by using the agile method of workflow, work management, project management. So agile seeks to, instead of always having your workload so huge, like your workload is overdefined, that the problem looks too big that you cannot start. Agile seeks that you start, let me say you identify a customer, he, he needs an app that will make it easier for him to purchase something. That was just the initial problem. Agile will allow you, this kind of workflow will allow you to start to design the app without even thinking about what type of products you want to buy, or how much, or the other features of the app. So as time goes on, you pitch the app back to the customer. The customer will give his feedback on what he has seen. Then from the feedback, you go back to your team members. You try to fix the bugs, improve the app according to suit the customer's taste, and then you continue this method till the app reaches the best it can be. This method is actually mostly used in almost many different projects development, especially things that like your bank, your banking apps, your music apps, all those apps that have those 247 customer service, so that you can report a problem to them within, by the month end. You will notice that there's a new version for you to update your existing app, and then this new version usually comes with fixes that correct the problem of the existing app. So the, the key frameworks in Agile, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. The key frameworks in Agile are, there are about four, four of them. We have Scrum, we have Kanban, we have Extreme Programming and Lean Development. In Scrum, what you do is you pick a part of the project you want to fix, maybe a project, a new feature you want to add to the project, or a bug you want to fix. Then you give yourself a time limit, and all developers put all their ideas, their effort to fix that problem within that time limit. Then in in a in the Kanban method, what you do is you design a visual framework of the workflow, so that you know that you build that. Let me, if you are building it like in a website now, somebody builds at the back code, there is the back end developers, there is people that run the UI, the front end, so that at a particular point, everybody's work will converge at the finished product. There is that flow chart that shows everybody doing their work, and it's finished, and the particular goal we should be meeting. Then in extreme programming, this one targets that purely programming, where, let me say, in systems that need high security, like in your bank, your banking app, when there is a cyber attack or something like that, you will need almost everybody on the team to be focus driven to resolve such issues. So all of them contribute their efforts in a particular direction. Everybody is coding, nobody is designing something else, nobody is fixing UI, everybody is trying to preserve their servers, protect customer data. That's what happens in extreme programming. And then in lean development, Lean development tries to cut waste. So in project building, there is a phase where you document what you have done, whatever new updates that you have done, you write it down so that maybe in the future you know that if something happened, you may retrace your workflow and then find out where the update was made that changed the interaction or the behavior of the product. So in lean development, instead of excess documentation, lean development tries to eliminate this kind of waste so that instead of documenting too much, you fix a problem. Once you are sure you have fixed that problem, then you now go back to document. Or once you are sure that you have produced, you have delivered the end product, that you have reached your target to then you now document instead of I I put a header on the website, I document that, I put the contact address, I document that. Lean development tries to, instead of all those excess extra work, just finish your main work, which is the product, and then you go and document at the end. So the benefits of using this agile method, it is faster, and then it's easy for adaptation. Is there is enhanced collaboration because in certain frameworks, it allows everybody to come together and contribute. So there is enhanced collaboration. There's continuous feedback. So this agile method, since the product is also with the consumer, as a consumer is the customer is using the product, is giving you feedback on his experience on the product, and then the developers and builders behind the products can improve the products to suit the customer test. And then there's also incremental value delivery. This the agile practice emphasize delivering work in increments of software regularity so that nobody you don't try to deliver like now we have ChatGPT 4 and ChatGPT 4.5. They didn't they didn't just start at ChatGPT 4.5. They started at ChatGPT. The they started somewhere. Then the developers, when they're done with that, they push it to customers at ChatGPT 1. Then when customers complain, they give their feedback to improve the code, release ChatGPT 2. So now we're currently at ChatGPT 4. That incremental value delivery that at each each version of the release, you have a better version than the previous. It's like the iPhone is now the iPhone 7. When they released it, people used it. They wanted new features. They tell the company. The company also has features, so they want to include in the app. To also keep that. In the next version, to add as much as they can and as much as their skill permit them to add continuously till they add, and they continuously improve the product to meet the consumers' need. The, the significance of this agile in modern workplace, it enhances productivity and efficiency so that by breaking the product into smaller and manageable components, it allows development teams to identify the problems, resolve them, and then improve the product and accelerate the time the product is from the building phase to the market phase. It's also crucial for maintaining competitiveness in the sense that once you release a product, you don't want once your customer a competitor also release a product. If you are not using the agile methodology, you won't be able to collect feedback from your customers that are using your product. Thereby, it will be a lag in fixing problems related to your product. And if your customers now go to your competitors that are using a constant feedback loop that helps them improve their products, you will easily shift from your product to their product. Also, this agile method fosters team collaboration. It eliminates that tension that exists in a structured environment, such that there is frequent communication between every team member. You don't have you don't wait for after 1 year, then the CEO now come and ask us what improvement have we done, and so so and so. The improvement are done frequently so that body is communicating with everybody with time. And it also allows for adaptation to change. Like, look at things like operating systems. It's not that they don't use the agile methods, but let's put it this way. Okay, look at your the, the electoral process, like in the government. Before something changes, before a change is made in government, it takes process. Sometimes you go through one process, you have to write a letter, you have to do this, consult and everything. But the agile method allows for this adaptation, so that once a problem exists and the content about that problem, and then the feedback is made to the developers the developers contribute their skills and efforts to ensure that they fix that problem. No matter how the problem, no matter how complex the problem is, maybe it was a management problem, everybody will focus so that they fix the management problem. Maybe it is a server problem, everybody focus to fix the server problem. Maybe it is a cyber attack problem, everybody suspend their part of the work the so that product does not uh, so that the consumer gets the best product. And then in this adaptation too, they also allow for maintaining competitive edge. You can also implement various methods. You can implement various methods, like you can add AI, like in customer care services. Most of the time, the first thing you chat to in your chat box for the customer care service is an AI. You don't chat with the live agents, so you chat with the customer service bot. Once, if the situation or your complaint is beyond the regular automation of the bot, you will see either a link or a option to contact or speak with a uh, live representative, and then they will now finally take your case to a real human being that will maybe check their system and try to rectify your problem. Then let me give you an example of this agile implementation, like in Spotify. Spotify has various teams. They are divided in the teams that are divided into squares, tribes, chapters, and guild. All of these have different expertise. They have different skills. Some are good at promoting the products. Some are good at fixing problems. Some people in the teams are good at creating, giving you ideas that will attract new customers. And if you look at now, Spotify go from nothing to almost the best now. Almost everybody is trying to go to Spotify because Spotify charge you less. Their UI is better than almost any other streaming music streaming platform out there, because they ha- they apply this framework such that it keeps them constantly improving. If you check, in the next month, Spotify will release a new version, or in the next 2 months, Spotify will release a new version, and that version will fix maybe a bug that made the app not work in a certain phone, because customers that were using that phone have complained and said that our our device is this app is not running smoothly as it used to be on our device. So to contribute their efforts, fix that problem. That's that attention to your customers. It shows that you are, like, these days you are more customer oriented. You are driving, just want to satisfy your customers' desire with this method. One of the problems with this agile, either they are early, maybe the communication barrier and team barriers. Like some people in a developing team for project management, not everybody that knows how to code. Some people are good at designing, like giving ideas. There are some people that are good at UI. There are some people that are good at back end. There are some people that are good at cloud engineering. So all of these people have different skills. Most of the time, they work with different programming language. So there is usually a communication barrier between them. Sometimes you have to wait for one person to finish his job before the next group of people can start their job. And then how the tools and how we can implement. Okay, I've been told to round up. So I will stop. One of the main tools we use for this agile, this if you are into programming, you know that people like using uh, Zoom, uh, like Google Meet we are using currently. People also use this other app where they schedule all the steps or all the flow work so that they have meetings. Once they fix the problem, they come together, have a meeting. Team just automates their meetings for them, arranges their file. There is Azure DevOps that helps developers that are working on Microsoft. There is Jira, there is Trello, there is Asana. Uh, I'm sure I've not bored you people, but I'll come to an end here so that someone else can take over.
All right, thank you so much, Strange. Sorry, I keep saying Strange. Thank you so much, Andy Khan. Thank you for bringing using all those examples, Spotify, Apple. Please, anybody has a question, please. We have like few minutes to round this session. All right, so without any question, so Inyodu is also a software developer, and he wants to give an example, a very quick example of how he used agile in his work, right? So if you are still confused about this agile, I think it's best you ask your questions now. So please, Mr. Inyodu, the floor is yours. Please give us, you have some minutes here, so you could give us how you used agile in your work. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Emilia. And thank you to Deacon for explaining agile workflow, which is what I do every day in my work, very succinctly. Although I doubt that people who have not been introduced to it before will really get it. So I'll just give a basic real life version of what it looks like. So I work with teams. I work with a team of designers, developers, back-end developers, front-end developers, app developers, and project managers. So in the agile framework goes like this. The project manager will assign a feature, right? It says we have 2 weeks to build this feature. Everybody gets on board a call, a meeting like this. We flesh out the different steps we need to take to achieve that, to build that. Write it down. We use a Kanban board. Like the speaker mentioned, Kanban. It's like a to-do list, but with different divisions, like to do, done, in progress. So we use a to-do list like that to write, okay, we break down the tasks into smaller units, then we assign it to different teams. And then everybody goes for that 2 weeks. Everybody goes to work on that particular feature. Sorry, my background is a bit noisy.
Yeah, sorry, please could you like start from like the first thing you said because it was it's noisy when you started.
Okay, sorry about that. I was trying to give a real life example of how I have used Agile framework in my own work over the past years. So I work with a team of different developers, designers, project managers, backend developers. Sorry about the background noise. I'm in a co-working space, and what we do, for example, we have a product to deliver. What we do is we have a team meeting on Zoom or Google Meets like this, and then we also have a job board with a to-do list feature like Trello. We also use Trello, and we flesh out what we are supposed to do for that 2 weeks for that particular feature. For example, build a sign-in feature where users can log in. So what the project manager does is list, okay, you will create the form, you will design the form, you will hook the form up to a database. So we list all that out and make a plan for 2 weeks and then assign it to different teams. And for that 2 weeks, the teams work on that particular feature. We're not working on the entire app at once, just one part of the app, sign in for 2 weeks. But every morning, we have to jump on a call and say, okay, yesterday I did this. Tomorrow I'm going to do this. Everybody on the team does that. And then at the end of 2 weeks, we also jump on a call to conclude for that particular feature and to evaluate our progress. Once that one is complete, if we get a pass on the feature, we now move on to another 2 weeks for another feature. So we keep on doing like this every two weeks, every two weeks until the entire app is done. Before I used agile development, all I did was I get a task, build this app or build this feature. I'll just work on it by myself until when I'm done, I report back to the client, the team, and say, okay, I'm done with this. And then we now present. If there are any errors, then it would be too tedious to go back and fix. But if there were errors during the daily presentations, it's easier to catch and easier to fix. So that's like a brief rundown of a very real life example that I have used and I keep using in my work. All right, thank you. I'll now hand over to the host, Medium.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Inyoju. Thank you, Andy Khan. I hope that everybody that is still present in this call, you must have learned a thing or two. Please, if you have any questions, just type it in the WhatsApp group because our time is fast spent. And we have a session on leadership, social influence, and communication by Femi Tiamiyu in the next 3 minutes, or sorry, 5 minutes here. So I would implore all of us to join. Thank you. And please, we really appreciate and we really apologize for um the little chaotic session we had earlier on, the whole network, the back and forth. We value you a lot for the fact that you are listening up to this point. And for those of you that are listening to the recording, we really apologize for everything that happened. We hope that in the subsequent sessions, it is going to be a very smooth sail, and we are also working towards that. So, thank you so much for your understanding. Thank you for staying put. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. We can say thank you for a long while. Thank you, Inyodu and Andika. We don't take this for granted. So we're going to have this AI session. We'll continue from where we stopped next week Wednesday. AI sessions is every Wednesday. So we'll continue from where we stopped next week Wednesday, and we will do a deeper dive. Please make yourself available and don't feel bad about anything. Just make yourself available, and this is something you're going to get um, a good meaning out of. So the next session is coming up very soon, and I'm going to drop the link here um so that we can also join. Let me just quickly drop it here. So I'm going to end this session right about now, and I have dropped the link here so you could join. Okay. Yeah, so this is the next link, and it's mandatory for everybody to join because it's one thing to have a job, it's another thing to keep it. Communication is very vital. So I'll leave us now. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening. See you in the next class in 4 minutes. Thank you.